Babaji, in today's world, the youth are under a lot of pressure, and the circumstances and the environment in which they living in, there's lots of peer pressure. They're attracted by things such as drugs, by sex, by all sorts of things. How do they deal with all these pressures on them?
No, this is a very good and practical question, Deepak, you have asked, because I also meet many young people who face this problem, and the problem solution does not lie in drugs, etc., which they seek because this is very readily available and seems to be an easy solution for the problem. But actually, the solution sometimes is worse than the problem because it makes them addicted and the problem still remains. So the solution is not to take drug or get involved in sex or some intoxication, but actually to learn how to cope up with the pressure or stress in life. So pressure or stress in life in modern times is inevitable because we live such a fast life. There is so much which is expected from youth, either parents or friends or the society itself has great expectations from them, or they themselves may set goals for them to achieve because they see it in others or they have some ideal in their life which they follow and they want to achieve, and this puts them in great pressure. So we have to understand that pressure on the mind or stress is primarily to live in future, because we are living in future, we are hoping for some result to come in future, and that builds up a stress on our mind, thinking what if it does not happen, or to achieve that I have to give my performance, and this builds up a pressure on the mind. So the solution for this, the simple solution is to live in the present, because really speaking that's what we have available to us. Past does not exist, future does not exist, it is only the present which exists. So if we can just try to live in present, then we will not have the stress, because something which we are hoping that has not happened, whether it is desirable or not desirable, we have to see our situation at the present. If I am a student and I am studying, so I may have a pressure that I want to do best, I want to come top in my class, but for that I don't have to feel pressure, but rather I should remain at present and study and then do my best in the exam. So not always living in future, that what if it does not happen, what if it does not happen, then what my relatives, friends or parents will say, or I will not get the job. These type of ideas come in the mind and put pressure on the student. So if I think that actually nothing has happened, rather I should utilize my time properly at present and then leave the result to as it comes and take it the way it comes, because result is not in my hand. What is in my hand is what I can do at present. What is in my hand is if I have an exam to prepare for it and then do my best, and that is what influences the result. But if I keep on thinking only of the future and of the result, then I become tense, I come under pressure, under stress, and I don't even do properly what am I supposed to do. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna actually gives this advice that you perform your action now and don't all the time think of the result. But we are actually taught opposite of that. We are taught that you have to fix your goal and you have to always think of your result, and you have to meditate on that. So by doing that we come under pressure. So my advice is that you just remain relaxed and perform your duty, your job, whether it is study, then you study properly without any stress or tension, and do your best when you have to write exam or whatever, you have to appear for some interview. So remain calm, and then whatever result comes, then you see if it is favorable, fine, be happy. If it is not favorable, then see what went wrong so that you can improve on that. So if we can learn to be in present, then we will not be in stress. And for that you can do some practice. You can do some simple deep breathing exercises, which is called belly breathing, because most of us we don't breathe properly, and our mind is directly related with breath. So if we can take deep breath and make this as a habit, then our mind will remain more calm and free of stress. So it will be good if young people can take out some time to do some breathing exercises, simple breathing exercises, even deep breathing exercises, and do a simple type of meditation that just observe your breath coming in and out. So if you do that regularly, morning, evening, or whenever you find time, for a few minutes even every day, then your mind will get into the habit of being relaxed. And whenever you feel tense, then you can also do this deep breathing and observing your breath. It will make you free from stress. So then you do not have to depend on some artificial things such as drugs or liquor to become free from stress. So this is simple advice I give.
Babaji, another question that the youth of today is faced with is that religion is seen as being something that is very boring and unfashionable, and some youth may argue that instead of spending time on religion, they should, what is the word, put their efforts into making money, because in today's world one's status in society is dependent very often on the amount of wealth that you have accumulated.
Yes, that's true that in the modern society wealth is given much value, and a person's status is known by the wealth he or she possesses. But we have to consider that what actually is the purpose of wealth, because wealth or money in itself does not have any purpose. Its purpose is only if we use it for ourselves, which means to fulfill our desire. Ultimately, we think that if I have money, then I can fulfill my desire and be happy. So, the purpose of wealth or money is to give me happiness. And that actually is also the purpose of religion, because religion is nothing but a system of discipline in life so that we remain balanced and not come under stress, not come under anxiety, and not cause harm to others, harm to nature. So, the real purpose of religion, irrespective of what religion you follow, is that I lead a balanced life. I am balanced in my own life. I am not disturbed. I don't cause disturbance to my peers, my family members, relatives. I don't cause disturbance in the society. I don't harm nature. That is actually the essence of religious principles. For example, when it is said that be non-violent, which is one of the principle of religion, to love others, be kind to others. So the idea behind it is that if you do that, then you are not creating disturbance in the society, you are not creating disturbance to others, because violence means creating disturbance to someone. And then by the principle of karma, that violence will come back to you, because the universe is a closed system. You cannot avoid it. It is not in your hands. Just as you have law of gravitation, so it is applicable on you. If you live on this planet, you are under the force of gravity of Earth. In the same way, you live in the universe, you are under the force of law of karma. So if you cause harm, disturbance, anxiety, stress, violence to others, then sooner or later it will hit you back. This you can actually experience in your own life. It is an experimentable fact. So religion teaches us that I do not do anything which will harm me ultimately. When we think we harm others, that harm comes to us. So religion is not some kind of a dogma, do this, do not do that. You have to understand the principle behind it. So I am not propagating any specific religion that you have to follow this, go to temple, church, mosque or some synagogue, but the basic principle of life, which means let live and live yourself. Do unto others which you would like you to be done to yourself, and don't do to others what you would not like others to do to you. So if you can follow this very fundamental basic principle, then this will make you peaceful and others peaceful. You will not disturb others, and others will also not tend to disturb you as a reaction of your action. That is the core message of religion.
Another problem, Babaji, that in today's society is the issue of relationships. We can see that the whole institution of marriage, with divorce being so prevalent nowadays, uh, the concept of being a single parent is almost the status quo nowadays, and people are losing faith uh, in the institution of marriage and also the whole concept of relationships. It's almost as if what I can get out of you, and once I've achieved that purpose, then the relationship falls apart. Can you comment on that and give some advice how to nurture and manage positive and healthy relationships?
The fundamental principle of relation is love. Although mostly we have relation which is more like a business deal, that you scratch my back, I scratch your back. I gain something from you, you gain something from me, and this way we have a relationship. So if we have the tendency that from this relationship only I want to gain as much as it is possible, then that relationship will not fly for a very long time. We have to understand that relationship is a two-way process. Relationship is between two living beings. It is not that relationship is in some inert object and a human being. It is not a relationship. You can use material objects, they don't object to your actions, your behavior. You can deal with them as you like. But when you have relation with human beings, then you have to understand that the other human being also has desires as you have desire. He or she also has feelings as you have feeling. So you have to actually care for the other person. And in fact, if you can care for the feelings of the other person, then it will nurture your relationship and you will feel more happy. So if you can have this faith and this sense of giving, sense of sacrifice, sense of cooperation with the other person, then that will strengthen the relation and it will ultimately give you a feeling of satisfaction and happiness. Otherwise, if we only think of for our own self, we become selfish in relationship and think of taking advantage of the other person, then this relationship will not stay for a very long time and ultimately you will be frustrated by that. So in relation we have to always consider the need, the requirement, the desires of the other person, because the other person is not a machine, is not an object, but also a living human being. Our tendency is that in relations we try to use the other person like an inert object. We think that this object is just only for me, for my pleasure, for my happiness. But that is not a relation. So the basic principle, as I said, in relationship should be love. And love means sacrifice, giving, working for others' happiness. And if you do that, then there will be a reciprocation. And that is what gives pleasure in a relation.
Another question, Babaji, is that in today's world, the youth almost have this peer pressure on them to conform or to do as what their friends are doing, and often it is not the correct thing that their friends may be doing. How does one keep one's values intact without being influenced by the so-called peer pressure and succumb to all these unwanted things in society today?
For that, one has to know one's nature, because every human being is unique in this universe. It is a very interesting thing and a fact that in God's creation, no two human beings are exactly the same. You go to any manufacturing company, if they produce a product, they cannot produce products which are all unique in nature. But in case of human beings, every human being is born unique, and thus no one can actually become another completely 100% exactly the same. So we have to understand that I am a unique person, I am a unique creation, and I have a unique nature. So I have to find out what is my potential, what is my nature, what am I supposed to be in my life. And if you know that, then you should not get influenced by others, because others have their nature, they have their own potentials, their capabilities. If I understand my own nature, then I should act according to that. I should try to improve and study and work according to my nature. Then that's what will give me happiness. This is one of the important teachings of Bhagavad Gita, that if you try to work according to another's nature, or try to be someone else than what you are, then you will never be able to do that, because you can never become somebody else. It is not possible. You can only become what you are meant to be. If you try to be someone else, then what will happen, that you will neither be what you are supposed to be, and you will not be what the other person, because that's not possible. So you will hang in between and you will only be frustrated. So we should not be the cause of our own frustration. We should rather know what is my potential, what is my capability, and work according to that. And that's what gives you happiness, that is what will give you satisfaction, that is what will give perfection to you. So just as in case, suppose you go to a garden, it has got a variety of flowers in it. There is marigold, there is rose, there is, so many other types, jasmine, other types of flower. So if now jasmine thinks that I want to be rose, it is not possible, because jasmine is meant to be jasmine and rose is meant to be rose. If jasmine wants to become rose, it will not become rose, but it will lose its own ability to remain as jasmine. The beauty of garden is that there is variety of flowers. If everybody becomes rose, then it becomes monotonous. So in this same world, everybody is unique and everybody is like a flower in its own way. So we have to recognize that nature and perfect that nature, so that your own fragrance will come, and that you will add some beauty to this world, to the universe, instead of trying to become somebody else, which will only bring you frustration.
One final question, Babaji. With youth today facing so much pressure, whether it's the pressure from their parents to excel at their studies, or pressure from their friends to do a certain thing, and all of them having to conform to certain things, youth often find that they take to suicide as an outlet in order to escape from all this pressure from various sides. Can you just explain uh, and talk about suicide
Yeah,
and why
suicide.
it's not the right thing?
Suicide is not a solution to the problem. Suicide is only an escape. It is like an ostrich that once the ostrich bird is faced by danger, he runs, and if he cannot protect himself, then he buries his head in the ground. So that does not solve the problem. That only he will only lose his life. Or like when we are children, we have fear, then we cover ourselves with our sheet in the bed. So that does not remove the problem. So suicide is not a solution to the problem. That is actually cowardishness, that we cannot face the problem, so we kill ourselves. Because by killing, the problem is not solved. We should know that our life cannot be destroyed. By suicide, you can only destroy your body. Then you will take another birth, and whatever you have to face in this life, then again you have to face the same thing. Because you cannot get rid of your karma by that. You have a karma, you have a situation which comes in your life, you should learn how to face it and how to transcend it. But if you only run away from that by committing suicide, then in the next life the same problem will come. So therefore suicide is not a solution, but it is rather creating further problem, because then that committing suicide will also create another bad karma for you, and you have to suffer further for that karma. So one should not think or attempt suicide, but learn to be strong. And there is no problem which does not have a solution. Every problem has a solution. We have to be intelligent, we have to be patient, we can also take consultancy from others how to cope up in a particular situation.
Babaji, another uh, problem that is faced by the youth is the issue of what they eat. And can you just elaborate on why a vegetarian diet is good for ourselves in general?
Diet or what we eat is very important both for good health as well as for the peace of mind, because the food which we eat, that is what gives energy, strength to our body as well as the mind, and besides giving strength or nourishment, it also influences our thought process. So we have to be very careful what we eat. After all, that food is going inside us. Usually we are very careful and we pay a lot of attention. We spend also time and money on the dress we put on, the clothings we use, and we are less careful in what we put inside. So dress is only external on our body. Food is what goes inside you. It actually makes your body and also nourishes your mind. So we have to be very careful about that. Vegetarian food is good because our body is actually designed for vegetarian food. This has been studies has been done on this. Human body is not meant for consuming meat. Our length of intestine and length of intestine of carnivorous animals is very different. Our intestine is 3 times bigger than theirs, and therefore more meat if you eat, it tend to become putrid inside and cause various types of disease sooner or later if one continues to eat meat. Our teeth are also not designed for eating meat. So even from our structure we can study that it is not designed for that. But this is fact that a lot of people eat meat. Now they have done studies that even from economic point of view, eating meat is actually very bad for the environment. It consumes a lot of water to produce it, and many other resources, grains which go to feed the animal, are 7 to 10 times more than for a vegetarian diet. So people of course say that if you don't eat meat, then how will you get protein and B12 and omega and things like that? But in vegetarian diet you can find all these things. There are vegetarian food which can supply whatever the body needs. And the important thing is that food, if it is not vegetarian or well prepared, then it creates a thought process which disturbs the mind. Food has the greatest influence on our mind. So what we call passion, that comes from food which is not vegetarian. So if you see vegetarian animals, they are more peaceful than the carnivorous animals. So vegetarian diet is healthy for body, mind. It makes you peaceful, which is needed for you to perform your responsibilities, your duties, and also you can feel satisfied in yourself, happy. Otherwise, there's too much passion. These days, there are many children who have the disease of attention deficiency disease, ADD or ADS. So this also comes because of the food. There is also tendency to eat fast food. So as the name only suggests, the fast food also makes your mind and body very passionate, aggressive and disturbed. So if you really want fast food, then eat fruits, eat salads. They're very fast. Doesn't need anything. Just pick up and eat.
Okay. Thank you, Babaji.
Mm.